you know about?
Okay, so yeah, I am filming. So yeah, basically, I was covering a lot of economics and climate change and so forth in like a news office setting, and then I realized, we don't have healthy soil, we don't have good water tables, we don't have any kind of sustainable agricultural practices. So that's been the hotel for the trip. I've gone maybe like 2,500 miles so far or so, and I'm on my way to Nebraska to go check out a citrus greenhouse farmer who's using. It's a greenhouse in the snow with little pipes in and out to keep his citruses warm 365 days a year.
What's your name? What's the...
I'm Brad, and it's on Touring News, Touring News.
Okay.
And I'll get you all the info and everything afterwards. So do you want to say where we are and what this project is?
So you're going to be filming me the whole time like this?
Is that okay?
Is this how we're going to do it?
Yeah, is that all right?
Yeah, sure.
I can not have you be on the video and just have your audio be?
It could be both. I'll just get used to it.
Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, we want it to look good, so whatever.
Okay, all right. I mean,
so,
most importantly, they're going to want to see this kind of stuff.
Yeah, more, right. We are at Casey Farm School at Gibbs Road, Kansas City, Kansas, in Wyandotte County. Wyandotte County is one of 2 counties in the U.S. with no ethnic majority.
Interesting.
Very interesting. We're so rich in diversity, so rich in opportunity, excitement, space. But at the same time, Wyandotte County is the sickest county in the state, the poorest county in the state. So that dichotomy, you see it all the time in farming, and you see it here in the county.
What makes it the sickest county?
No access to food.
Mm-hmm.
The rail yards that are just north of us, by about 3 miles, they're right in like the top 5 largest rail yards in the country.
Wow, okay.
So, right here in the middle of the country, that's where rail crosses. And
yeah, I was talking a little bit recently about how Des Moines and Iowa doesn't have drinking water because of all the nitrates and phosphates from their pork farms. So I didn't know if that was, a similar thing that was going to be to down here, but yeah, the rails that you said.
Yeah, we talk about the rails. We just talk about lack of access. Like Wyandotte County has been ignored.
This looks to be a pretty big property. How many acres?
We're on 3 acres.
Okay.
And we have about 1 acre cultivated.
Okay.
The farm has been around for 30 years or more in vegetables, and we are a new organization. We're in our 3rd summer. So it's an organic farm. We practice regenerative practices. We're looking at silage tarp here.
Yeah, usually when I chat with people, sorry to interrupt you.
Oh, you asked the questions.
Oh, okay, wonderful. I mostly just say to people, imagine that we're a 101 level course. So as explanatory, as basic as you want to go. So yeah, what is the silage tarp here, and what's the purpose of doing it this way versus maybe what, a lot of people are going to be like, wait, this isn't a farm, this is like a backyard garden. Now, the ones in the know are going to know this is a farm. But yeah, what would be the purpose of the tarp here?
So it's a practice used by regenerative farmers to kill the plants underneath the tarp and create a surface that's ready for planting into. So we don't have a tractor, we don't use a tiller, we use hand tools and hand labor. We try not to turn the soil over. We don't want to disrupt the weed seeds, but even more than that, we don't want to disrupt the soil communities that are just below the surface.
Yeah, and also when you don't till, some people told me that's better at sequestering carbon because you're not, releasing the moisture, you're not losing a lot of that soil content as well.
Absolutely, and we're keeping the soil in place. You see that we're on a lovely slope here, and with a lot of tilling and with the rain we've gotten this year, water goes down the slope into Turtle Creek, into the Mississippi River, and of course the Gulf of Mexico. So we're trying to keep it here at Gibbs Road Farm.
And so that's why that you're doing your planting this way? Because if you would do it vertical, you're just going to have, it's going to run down there?
We're doing planting north-south because it's been this way for 30 years. That's why we're doing that. So I guess the people who first laid out the beds considered that.
Yeah, because I would just think if you had the rows going the other way, you're just going to have a water, slide right down the middle part here.
But we really are building on the work that has happened over the past 30 years. And we know the people who have been here that long.
One person's calling it a Lindy layout, maybe?
Perhaps.
I'm not sure if...
Are we doing Facebook Live right now?
It's actually a Twitch stream that I've done like all of my broadcasting on. My concept was, so yeah, there's people like coming in now. I'll eventually put it onto YouTube. My concept was if I talked about news and information with a live audience, that always be able to fact check me in real time.
Oh wow!
So it might
Love
be able to get it to like something closer to actually getting like some objective truths.
Okay, love it.
And I don't usually do live streams when I would be with like a farm because it's usually bad internet quality. But you have 5G internet here, and I have excellent reception.
Okay.
So it's
We have a cell phone tower right behind us, and that is where
Okay.
it was coming from. Yep.
So what are these here?
These are our tomatoes, and they are really reflecting the kind of season we've had. So much rain. 3 weeks of rain at a time, and really just this week have we seen nice 90-degree weather. So we got these tomatoes in normal time, middle of April, and typically they would be 5 feet tall now. We'd be harvesting several hundred pounds. But we have just planted 3 beds this year. We had not plans for 9, but with the temperatures and the season we're having, we gave up those other 6 beds.
Yeah, I was talking to a chestnut wheat elderberry farmer, and he was saying that there was a day where they got like 11 inches of rain in about a day or 2 days.
It's been crazy. We got probably 2 inches out of the blue, totally unexpected on Wednesday afternoon. Well, mostly out of unexpected. Buckwheat cover crops are used throughout the summer. My mentor farmer, Mark Trella, would always say that if you don't know really what to plant buckwheat, and by the time you figured it out, the buckwheat is ready to incorporate into the soil.
Oh,
and
okay.
It sweetens the soil and feeds the bees at the same time.
What got you personally into farming?
I've always been outside. I grew up in the country. I loved that freedom. I've worked with animals. I like the idea, and I believe that if we can move around outside, work with another person, or even sometimes work with ourselves, we have a fuller, richer life. Like communication happens better out here. When it's 100 degrees and we're sweating, we're barely keeping ourselves alive, then there's no room for like false faces or imaginary conversations.
I see that you have these pieces of straw down. So what purpose is the straw doing down in your beds?
Right, so it's mulch right now, holding soil moisture, keeping the soil in place, preventing weeds, and then eventually as it breaks down, it feeds the soil. And we use straw when we have money and when we can find straw. Right now it's about $8 a bale, and that's just plain old conventional straw. What we do have in abundance are leaves. We work with, we're fortunate to be friends with a local landscaper who does all kinds of maintenance work. He mows for us, he hauls things here, and one
wonderful.
way we can pay him back is to accept his leaves in the fall. He would have to pay $50 a load to dump them into the landfill, so we take them and we use them for lovely organic matter.
I was working on an urban farm in Cleveland, and if there was excess rain runoff that went into the sewage system, they were being charged for it. Natural rain water from the property, they were being
we can be so angry at so many things as how they have been, but we really believe that action is the solution to these, and the question and conversation really lead to that solution. So we're a 3-acre farm. In Wyandotte County, you need to be 5 acres to be zoned ag, but you can see this is a farm. We've said it's been a farm for 30 years, so we asked that question, give us a variance and let us be zoned ag, and sure enough, just about a month ago, the commissioners agreed wholeheartedly, unanimously to change our zoning to ag.
Congratulations. That must have been a big victory for everybody.
It's a big victory for everybody, right? It normalizes urban farming a little bit more, and it puts Wyandotte County in one of those counties, one of those cities in the forefront of making a commitment to growing food locally.
What were some things that you maybe tried over the past couple of years that worked, and what were a few things that you tried that didn't work as well, as far as crop techniques or planting techniques or different foods for this region?
So like I said, the farm's been around for 30 years, and before our organization, I was the farm manager for 6 years in the past, so I know the land really well. I know that we have awesome weeds, and that's probably what we are looking to address and eradicate as much as possible. Our new farm director in the front over there in the white shirt comes from experience here, but over the past 10 years she's been traveling upstate New York, New York City, Melbourne, Australia, and has run farms in those places.
Wow.
And has really taken on a lot of no-till practices, and so we are starting here. We turned this area to no-till last fall, and we are just continuing westward to change. So when you ask, like, what are we trying to change, we are converting the whole farm to no-till.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, it really looks awesome.
It's amazing to see how quickly weeds can be in control, how quickly it is to be able to identify which weeds are coming up, and just really how easy bed prep is. You know, we tend to believe what we hear, that we need tractors. We tend to believe that we need fancy clothes. We tend to believe that we need, I don't know, baby formula, when really we don't need any of those things.
What are
I'd love to introduce you, but sure.
Yeah, I'll ask is it okay if I film and chat with you for a little while? Okay, wonderful. Before we maybe do the handoff, what is your little water system here, and how many times per day are you turning the the water on?
Drip irrigation. Header line runs the north of the bed all the way the whole length of the field. We run it maybe twice a week on extremely dry days or dry weeks. We grow probably 40 different vegetables organically, regeneratively.
Yeah, it's really amazing. I saw a tomato farmer recently that was using drip irrigation into bagged tomatoes inside of high tunnels, and he was kind of poking a hole into the bag, and that was his way. So you could grow them even on concrete, because you just needed bagged soil. Right. And it was really, it's amazing seeing all the different little innovations a lot of farmers are doing, and they're all kind of wanting to share it, as much as possible.
Well, wanting to share it because the message is like, you can do this too. We need you to do this too. It's not rocket science. There's a lot of skill, and we develop our practices over a year, so I don't want to negate the effort that people have spent their lifetime and learning how to do it, but it's totally accessible. We have a program called Let's Grow Wyandotte, where overnight, last year, 85 people signed up to join a community of backyard growers, and this year
awesome.
we have 200 people in the program, and so we give transplants away in the spring. We have community potlucks and bi-monthly meetings. It just is based on our whole idea that if we all share what we have, then everyone can have what they need. So in the spring, we're really rich in transplants, so we share those at that time.
Yeah, and it also seems like that you do a lot of teaching, or it's able for anybody to kind of just walk on and talk and so forth.
Yes, like this, but we also have programming for 6-month-old all the way up to adults. Right now we have Junior Growers Farm Camp happening. We have Ag Explorers on Saturday morning, some little bit of ag, a little bit of art, workshops.
May I begin the transition to head over that way?
Absolutely. Let me make introductions.
Okay.
So this is Carly Heinberg.
Hi. Are you okay if there's a camera on you at any point? Okay, I can keep it off if you...
She's a grower's apprentice, so we're a host farm for the apprenticeship program. And she's been here really running through for the whole season. She comes with a lot of experience herself.
Oh, awesome.
Sorry, this was for the moment. He knocked on the door and I let him in. And this is Lydia Neville. She's our farm director. It's her second day on the job.
Today's your second?
Second day on the farm, yeah.
Oh, wow. Welcome.
Yeah, second day on the farm.
Yeah, so I'm taking a trip from Pennsylvania across the country, just kind of going to different farms, talking to farmers, learning about regenerative ag practices, no-till practices. And I got a tip about this one last night while I was out, and they said, you kind of
talking about us being no-till.
Yeah, I was asking people, do you know anything about the local farm industry or so forth? And they recommended Circle 7, Circle 7,
that's Gail Fuller.
pretty far south somewhere. And there was one other one that they might have recommended.
Herbivore?
That wasn't it, but I'll write that one down.
So we're friends with Gail Fuller.
Oh, okay.
He sells at our market once a month, and we're all going out to a conference in the middle of September out there. So you definitely should go to Severly, Kansas and talk to him.
Okay, it's pretty far south, isn't it?
It's west, maybe 2 hours.
Oh, okay. All right, that's actually not that bad. I'm trying to get to northwestern Nebraska.
Oh, yeah.
So I can go that way? Okay, all right, awesome. Yeah, so it sounded like you were doing farming in a lot of different states and maybe even countries also. So yeah, do you want to share a little bit about that journey of yours as much as you'd like to? And what were some of the techniques that you learned from this region, from that region, and so forth?
Yeah, hold on, I just want to check in. We're going to seed this.
Okay.
And then maybe if you want to have a little bit of a longer chat, then I can keep weeding.
Yeah. Can I film as you do the seeding to show people how that works? All right.
Footage.
Yeah, it's wonderful. I do. I'm a live streamer, and I usually cover like economics and climate and environmental issues. And the whole hope was, if I have people watching me and fact checking me in real time, and they're kind of contributing and so forth, we might be able to do better because there's a lot of like feedback back and forth. So I usually don't get to live stream when I'm in the field, but you have a cell phone tower somewhere right around here, so it works out pretty well. So yeah, go ahead and get your setup, and I'll just do some, shooting at this part.
Oh yeah, thanks for not stepping on.
Oh, I won't. Don't worry.
Good. I was just thinking
Yeah, bolting is what happens when there's potentially either too much heat or I suppose potentially too much water, and it's when your plant starts to sprout way high and produce their seeds. So this is called the bolting part. And okay, yeah, it's too hot of temperatures, and then you lose most of your production. Correct. Kale right here. So this is going to be the bed that they're going to be planting, and this is actually really nice because they've got like a hand seeder. So I imagine they're going to walk through the part that I'm walking on and then push over onto this side, and we're going to be seeding something into this bed, which, oh, okay, so this is an asparagus windshield. Interesting. All of these, they have the seeder machine. Yeah, they have the machine for doing the seeding. So I wonder what year asparagus these are. I would guess maybe these are maybe year 2. Are these second year? Yep. I'm getting there. For being an office person, I'm starting to pick it up a little bit. So I don't mean to. If I'm disturbing you at any point, you just let me know.
What's
Okay.
the name of your live stream?
It's Touring News, TOURING News on Twitch.
all the hip people are on Twitch.
Yeah, I've been there for 2.5 years, maybe. I've done like 4,000 hours of streaming. About.
Been there. Never.
Yeah, it's.
Never been there.
There are good things to it and there are bad things to it.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
no,
okay, thank you.
I have nothing to. I have no comment except for the kids are on Twitch.
Okay, so we're at the
mustard.
Casey Farm School at Gibbs Road.
Yeah, light mustard. So.
And they're going to be seeding red choy.
We got lettuce and so we're doing pak choy and tatsoi. Yeah, that's tatsoi also. More pak choy.
Awesome.
Some mustards.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And yeah, it's gonna be a cut and come again like this bed where we just come through and cut the leaves off and then it'll grow back the next week and then we can just keep doing that.
Yeah. What's the purpose of doing the different types interplanted with one another?
Well, so this one was, we had seeded the CCA at the beginning of the spring, or like in the spring, and the lettuces were taking a long time to pop up, and so that's when we put the squash plants in to kind of convert it into a squash bed. And we kind of left the ones that, the lettuces and stuff that were popping up, we left them in there just to see what would happen, and then they ended up taking over the bed, so the squash isn't really doing super great. So it was just kind of a transition bed that ended up being all together bed. So yeah, and then there's just different types of lettuce. So there's Regis, and then there's the Jericho, which is the green, and this one's starting to bolt. That's why it's kind of tall like that.
Can you explain what bolting would be to people that hadn't heard of it before?
Yeah, bolting is when a plant is just starting to go to seed, so it's at the end of its season, so it's not, when you harvest like this leaf, it's not going to taste as good because it starts to taste kind of bitter.
Okay.
And so whenever it goes to seed, or whenever it bolts, which I don't know exactly why we say the term bolting.
Well, bolt would be to make a fast movement.
Right.
So I guess like, yeah, maybe
kind of gripping the hand.
bolting upward. I would think.
Yeah.
Is it a horse term? Do colts bolt? I don't, because I mean I've only heard it in the terms of horse racing. Oh, like they bolted out of the gate, or you know something that way.
Another thing to look up.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, and I can stay and give you all like an hour or two of work for taking some of your time now afterwards.
Yeah, we got stuff to do.
Okay, yeah, I'll be. I'm being interviewed at 11:30. Somebody's doing like a story or some kind of thing. But then I'm free after that, and I can kind of help
We're
out.
totally happy to have you here. And
Okay.
like you said, we love to share what we're doing. So
Awesome.
It was wonderful. I'm gonna get out of here though.
So, I have no idea what we just said because the plates are all from different manufacturers. So I just put lettuce light in, which maybe was the one that you had in there. Oh, that's okay.
So are we gonna do 5? Oh wait, we're not starting with the lettuce on this side. We're doing
Right. Group. Yeah, so we'll just go down there.
Okay.
Well, we can eat, and then she does the mustard, but it's the same.
She uses the mustard plate.
Yeah, but it's the same. It's like,
Oh,
it's the same distance. And then I was like, I don't know if the lip or the bucket or the smooth has anything. She said, no, I think it's just different manufacturing. She doesn't know. I don't know either.
So we'll just use the same plate for all of them?
Can I see the plates?
Are all the sizes the same? Or all the seeds the same size?
So you're talking about different plates. Do the plates determine what distance the seeds would then be planted within?
Yeah, so you can see that this is for a bigger seed. Like I think this is the peas, beans, and corn.
Okay.
Or maybe that one's corn and
Okay.
beets. Yeah, because the seeds are different sizes.
Oh, okay.
Oh, small
Interesting.
peas. Yeah. So then you end up using a lot of lettuce light or spinach because it's very close. I mean, it depends on how far.
Seed and the distance between each seed that's planted, because these ones are really tiny,
Right.
little.
Mm-hmm.
So those ones are really just a small one, and we'll want them planted pretty close together. What about this middle one?
Well, yes, but okay. So because we're doing CCA, but we were also going to let them head up,
Yeah.
and it's like giving them a little bit more space now that it's warmer.
If we do that, could we like plant them closer together and do CCA and then kind of thin them out?
Then to harvest, yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Because then we have more CCA or more to cut for CCA.
Great. So we'll go down and do the lettuce first, and then we'll do the brassicas with that.
Okay.
Nice. Here you go, as well.
So how many farms have you been to so far?
Maybe 8 or 9. I'm not sure. I've been to like 4 farmers markets, some corn farms in Indiana, a converted tobacco barn to a saltwater shrimp farm in Kentucky,
Hello.
some high-till tomato farmers.
Hi, Phil.
Or I'm sorry, high tunnel no-till. Yeah, high tunnel no-till. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, and just on my way to Nebraska, and then I guess from there I need to figure out. I keep realizing every mile I go that way, it's just like another mile from home.
Yeah.
And my car has 226,000 miles from 1995. A GMC Jimmy.
I have no idea what that is.
It's like a 2-door Blazer type thing. But it's running like a champ so far. So I'm gonna kind of just keep going west and see where it goes from there.
Cool. What made you want to start doing this?
I cover economics, geopolitics, and kind of like global macro issues. And a lot of that deals with water wars and conflict over soils and seeds and droughts and so forth. A lot of the Syrian refugee crisis began with an intense, horrible drought that made a lot of people migrate into the cities, and then that led to kind of a collapse. I took a job at an urban farm in Cleveland this year doing woofing, like a work trade thing with them. And then, yeah, I kind of like, I mean, I have the opportunity where I can live in my car, mostly comfortably. And like,
Are these 100-foot beds? 50-foot beds?
these are 100-foot.
Okay, keep going.
So yeah, like I can, mostly deal with just being in my car, because, I wouldn't be able to afford hotels and all that kind of stuff for a trip.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's about a month in now. I'll probably I'll find like a library today to do some editing film work. And then, yeah, just kind of keep going. Sometimes like people in my community, so like it's like a live stream, so there's 24 people watching now, and then I'll upload the video to YouTube later. The whole thinking was, if a lot of people come in interested about academic topics, you're going to kind of like cultivate a community that'll like fact check one another all the time, and they give me sources, I give them sources. So it kind of has worked out pretty well, and some of them stuck around when I took like the farming turn. We've covered, I guess, like a lot of different topics over 2.5 years, and now it's kind of like the farm time.
Gotcha.
I would say.
That's super cool.
What about you? How have you gotten into this?
We have the pak choi and tat soy, and then I don't know if we're using this. We are. The Mizuna. So 3. I think so. Or yeah.
If anybody does have any questions, go ahead and leave them in there. I'll scroll back through the chat and try to pick them up. I'm getting better from you all at like the questions that I'm supposed to ask, but of course, of course, you're using the archive to plan out growing operations on your own land. Yeah, nice. Oh, and municipal lots soon too. Cool. Yeah, I was living in Philadelphia for a long time, and then I need to figure out like a place to kind of settle down a little bit. I move a lot, and you can't really have a garden or a farm if you're moving all the time.
Right.
Yeah, what got you into doing this type of stuff? And can I put the camera back on you?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I went to school at Missouri State in Springfield, and I was just studying general business with a minor in sustainability because I was really involved in a sustainability group on my campus. And the summer before my senior year of college, before I graduated, I went on a woofing trip with my sister.
Oh, cool.
So we went up to Vermont and then to Virginia, and that was my first time really like doing any kind of farming stuff, and just kind of fell in love with the like working outside. I've always been a very outdoorsy person, and it's sustainability, it's mental health, it's just physical health, it's environmental issues, social issues, just like kind of an all-encompassing thing. And so I just wanted to learn more about it. And I don't know if I necessarily want to be a farmer on into the future, like have my own farm. I'm still trying to figure that out right now.
Right.
But, I was working at an urban farm very similar to this down in Fayetteville, Arkansas,
Okay.
for a few years before I came up here.
Okay. And how long have you been here?
Just since March.
Okay.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I moved up to KC about a year ago. So.
Yeah, the difficult thing about like, okay, I'm going to be a farmer, it means, all right, 6 or 7 day weeks, for the next 50 years.
Yeah, it's a commitment.
Yeah, it really is. No, you don't think so?
We gotta change that.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's
You don't
smarter
gotta be
ways to
doing
do
that.
things.
We shouldn't be doing that. Why do farmers have to do all that work for the whole of society?
I am in complete agreement with you. From what I found so far in talking to farmers, we haven't changed it yet. So I'm with you.
My
And
first question that I ask farmers is, what are your days off? When do you take holiday? When are you hibernating? Because if you read One Straw Revolution, he talks about the reason that art started separating from the farmers was because the farmers were buying into systems where they had to constantly be producing, and the people that owned the means of production were exploiting that labor, and those farmers used to have off seasons to do poetry and media art and storytelling and weaving and all of these other practices that keep us connected to our food and our land. And that is like a capitalistic belief that we have to constantly be working. That is not how ecosystems thrive. They have times of rest. So I push against it because I'm like, that is the reality, and it's not working. It's killing people, it's killing the land. We're just playing by the same rules as the big conventional agriculture by people who don't even know where we are. Those people are in offices in big cities, which is a fine place to be, but that is like a really big cultural shift that needs to happen. And is happening through community development, that we don't have to have farmers that are just standalone people. Farming isn't meant to be a solo individualized.
Yeah, it seems like, you know, this land in particular and this project in particular, there seems to be a lot of people that come and either volunteer or are part staffed here. I don't really know how the organization mechanism works, but it seems that they're, you know, if you're ill or something, somebody's going to be around where they can come and they can kind of help out for a day or so forth. So the big part of what you're saying is, as you get to more community-based agricultural systems or community-based gardening or community-based farming, then you're going to have the ability for people to take a break, I would say.
Yeah, and we got to push for that even before we feel like we have the capacity or the comfort to do that. Because
Constant burnout
it's
is not going to get us
vegetables.
anywhere.
And it's, like we're meant to be feeding one another, not depleting one another.
And just a bigger, like, overall societal understanding of how food is grown and like where, just how it all works. I think most people have a general idea of how things are grown, and but ag is such a, before I got into farming, I didn't think about really like where my carrots or tomatoes or anything came from. And growing up, I just went to Walmart and shopped there. And
And to
it's at a grocery store.
echo what you're saying, I spent 3 months on a farm this year, been on the road, I've been, you know, like watching a lot of farming YouTube and so forth. I know nothing still, you know, and so to go off of what you were saying about like people in offices.
10 years and I don't know anything.
Right, I was living in Philadelphia, and I mean, I conceptually understood, okay, food comes from there, they do this, they do that, it gets to me. But now it is, it's almost like retraining, you know, your mind to like just completely re-understand how it would be produced.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's, honoring the, like, already, like, the systems that are already in place in Mother Nature, like the ecosystems and stuff, and not working, because big ag works against those things. And Mother Nature's so powerful, like, she's gonna come and, like, that's why we have to keep, or why we've, like, had to increase pesticides and all of these different things, is because Mother Nature adapts to what we're doing instead of us adapting to what Mother Nature needs. And I don't know, it's all very fascinating.
And it's uncomfortable while you're pushing against that shift in ownership and that shift in who's in charge and having power over one another, trying to dominate rather than working collaboratively. So I'm not dishonoring, I've owned my own business, and I was working 7 days a week for 5 months solid, which is not healthy, and I'll never do it again. And I would ask us to consider if that's, like, should even be an option. It shouldn't. It shouldn't be an option.
I agree. Yeah, I agree.
I'm not,
I don't know if I don't exactly get days off. I mean, I take them sometimes, but you know, I have to keep up with like world news and you know, like sharing information all the time. So it's, I mean, I chose it. It's what I got into. But yeah, you don't. I feel that hustle culture that, you know, always need to produce like more content or do, you know, this or that or whatever. So yeah, I completely understand.
Push against it. Turn it off, everyone.
Thank you. I'm going to later today.
And rest is different for everybody too. Like if it's something that's rejuvenating to you, to be working on something that you're passionate about, that's a different kind of rest than, you know, doing something that you have to do to continue to push because you can fall behind otherwise, whatever.
Okay, we really got to see. This is great, but we can keep going with it. So can I check in how you feel about this?
Yeah, so you sectioned it off.
Yeah, but we'll split this one in half because these are just to like practice, just see how we go. But it says that this one's pretty detailed, and this one too. So yeah, I was using
I have to go get a little bit of water, everybody. So I'm gonna set you here for a minute. I gotta go grab a bottle of water. I'll be right back. I just have to go get some water. I'll be right back.
Oh, good thinking. Do you wanna? We'll still be seating when you get back.
Yeah, I'm gonna be a minute.
I like your Schitt's Creek shirt, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Is that David?
Yeah, David's sitting out in the field.
Have I not gotten to that episode yet?
Have you not seen it all? I've already seen it 3 times through. Like,
The whole thing? No, I'm really stingy with it because it makes me so happy. I don't want to do it. We can go down and do lettuce first.
That was my favorite too.
Oh yeah, I have the lettuce.
Thanks.
Do you have that lettuce in here? We can go down and do that one first.
That
That's
was
okay.
outrageous. I gave you the other one. Yeah, there's another red one, but I handed it to you. So we don't want this one. Well, I mean, we can do the outrageous.
Where's the oak leaf? You handed it to me?
I think so.
Oh yeah, it's in here.
Do you know how much?
How much what?
How far that will get us?
Harvest. Farms. Beans. Soup. And what was the other thing you said? Oh, that was it. And squash with it. Yeah.
Hi! Can I steal some of the lettuce?
Oh yeah, totally. Whatever you want.
Thank you.
Did you all? Were you all just harvesting tomatoes for lunch?
Just a little bit.
Oh no no
We
no.
didn't go overboard, I promise. I promise.
This is the priority.
I was
I guess
like,
we need to harvest it today anyway.
I was just
Okay.
I saw you all out there, so
I was like, we gotta run. They're gonna see us.
No, and harvesting on
No one's
Friday
good.
is
I was
different
happy
than
to
harvesting,
see you all there.
on
Okay.
Monday. I didn't
Oh,
go
no.
to them. I just was on Monday. They
Yeah,
had
yeah,
harvest
yeah.
It was
all the
right
kids
before
in the classroom.
CSA, and then I left to get lettuce and the students, and I knew, oh, that's okay. I'm like,
You're just doing a little bit.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
But I knew, I was like, the students are gonna take more, and then I came back.
Ari and David, they're the 2 camp counselors. If you want to interview them.
Oh, okay, cool.
afterwards.
Yeah, did you want to speak with David?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I want to film them doing their seating, but I'm gonna stick around today and help out for a little while. So
Yeah, we're gonna be near the tents and.
okay.
Yep.
Okay, so we want to go down and do lettuce.
Are these 30-inch wide beds?
Sorry.
Are they 30-inch wide beds?
Theoretically, I think they're all kind of oddly shaped.
Yeah.
I think
Oh,
they
wonky.
Okay.
I'm mixing between centimeters and inches and pounds and kilos. Okay, so I like to. Yeah, you want to go to Pluto.
Pluto, I've probably been to your area also. I've been to wheat farms. I've been to chestnut farms. I've been to a multitude of different ones. So before you go into somebody's home, talking about things that you don't know about them, maybe sit back and relax for a moment.
And then you know that we keep these
Right.
for our certification.
Hold that in my pack if you want.
find sometimes because of the weight of the seed, it's actually better to have like excess in there to actually get it to spread out, because you'll see sometimes if you don't have a lot of seed in there, it's it's not actually dropping.
Yeah. Can I see what the seeds look? Okay.
What was the question?
I just wanted to see what the seeds look like.
Oh yeah, totally. So I think that's fine. And then I like to do the middle row as my like base, and then do the rows on the outside. So I'm starting. I just marked that just so we had a marking place, but it's fine if it's not there.
Yeah. And you'd go down and back on the same line.
Oh, that would be double seating.
Okay. That's what we did with the beets. I just wasn't sure.
Right. So a lot of times with beets, because of the germination rate being lower, then you will double seed.
Okay. So this one's just a single.
Okay, so they just said beets get a double seed because of the germination rate, but these get a single seed.
So I just like to see and make sure that there's actually some seed dropping, and there's not, because it's, oh yeah. Can you see seed dropping? I'm just running into some of those stems. Okay. You think so? I'm gonna just use this spot as our transition spot. Come on. I'll see if I can see this dropping. Yeah, it's dropping. You want to double seat inside just in case? I'm a little bit worried about it. Yeah, so then you just drive it over the same track.
Just on this side.
Yeah, I think just double seed on your side.
Yeah, I think just on that side.
Yeah, this is a lot quicker than doing seed by hand. In addition, you're mathematically placing the seeds at a specific distance every time because of the disc that was inserted in. It works on kind of like a rotational system. So once X distance has been traveled, then it's going to drop the seed. So there's a few efficiencies that you're getting. You're getting consistency. You're getting faster seeding. You're getting the correct depth on your different seeds.
Oh my gosh, that's all from that clay. It's not treated. It's
Oh,
covered. What's it called? Coated. So I'm kind of inclined to double seed this stuff because the seed is so old.
Oh, sorry about that. I wanted to reschedule the interview that I'm doing at 11:30 because this is a lot more interesting. And yeah, because that, I mean, somebody from some online publication wants to write a story about like upcoming Twitch streamers or like politics stuff on Twitch or so forth, and they reach out to me to ask me some questions. But they can call at any point.
Kind of crazy with the leaves, hey?
yeah.
Thank you with the raid. Not sure who it was. Oh, Dr. WD40 with a raid of 104 people. Oh, wow. Well, thank you very. Yeah. So on Twitch, you can send like a community over to another person's channel. So somebody just dropped 104 people live into the channel. So we are currently at the Casey Farm School on Gibbs Road in Kansas. They are converting most of their beds that they have into a complete no-till system. So the farm has been in production for approximately about 30 years. They're beginning up on this upper end. We've got second-year asparagus. We're doing some seeding of, I guess, like brassicas at the moment here, and different lettuces and so forth. You've got your drip irrigation and on down and on down. And then we're just kind of having like a general talk about no-till farm practices, sustainable farm practices. Thank you so much, Dr. WD40. I really appreciate that. It's awesome that you go out and you IRL stream a lot too. I maybe need to talk to you at some point. I've heard that you stream into your Discord and then you allow like your Discord maybe to broadcast it. So yeah, I might have to chat with you about that at some point. And thank you for letting me film and be so open about it too.
Oh, for sure.
So this is a...
Viewers, they can go to caseyfarmschool.org.
Okay. caseyfarmschool.org. If you want to learn anything about the project, I'm sure if you want to donate to the project, you can donate through there.
Yeah.
Application for 4-year-olds all the way up to high school, and they do apprenticeships, as well as it's called Let's Grow Wyandotte, and it helps community gardeners in the area to have some resources and connection.
Yeah, they mentioned that last year there were about like 80 people that signed up for some form of community gardening, and this year the number had blossomed to about 200.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's really good work that you're doing.
And we're also on Instagram as Casey Farm School _ Gibbs Road.
Casey Farm School _ Gibbs Road on Instagram as well. And then if anybody likes my stuff, it is !support. If you want to give like a donation or anything. I've been on it's about a 30-day road trip across the country, going to different farms, talking to farmers, trying to just like broadcast and learn what I can. It's been a nice trip so far. I'm currently in Kansas. I think tomorrow or the next day I'm driving to Nebraska to try to go visit a greenhouse.
Do you have one? We'll just have to remember that.
So thank you very much for the raid. You raided on one of the best possible days that you could. If anybody has any questions for me or for the farmers, ask the questions. I'll try to catch up to them.
Ancient.
Okay. I think we're caught up.
I'm gonna hand this to you.
Do you have any chickens here?
Yeah, there's 3 chicks
Okay.
up at the front.
So and chickens is the only animals that you have?
And a kitty cat.
Okay. Chickens and a kitty cat.
So, what's your name again?
Brad.
Brad?
Yes.
This is our new 11 acres.
Oh, wow.
That gate, yeah. So I'm really the farm director at Common Ground,
Okay.
but our farm manager moved to another cool organization in the city, and so I'm just jumping in here and working on getting our no-till systems under control. But then that is 11 acres that we've been dreaming on. We've had it for about a year, but
Okay.
we're taking the practice of, I can't remember who said it, but walk the land 100 times before you dig a hole.
Yeah.
And the only infrastructure is like the fencing with the gates, and then you can see like the electrical poles go straight through it. But big visions there. Like we'll do production. There's going to be parts that are in wilds, focusing on natives. Like there's some invasive stuff that's native, but then there's invasive introduced things. So trying to get the introduced things out, trying to get the invasives to balance out a little bit. Yeah, doing all the tree ID, having orchard over there, community gathering space.
Can I go step over and look at
Oh,
real
sure.
quick?
And yeah, trying to partner some with some native organizations. The native folks here on this land were pushed out through treaties, and so they've been displaced to like Oklahoma, further out Midwest, and so trying to reconnect and give some space for the folks who are doing agriculture here, because there were sedentary tribes that were doing a lot of agriculture in this area, but so much of that wisdom was lost when they were pushed out and murdered.
Yeah, thank you for everything that you're doing.
Yeah,
I really appreciate
totally.
it. I'll be back in a
You can,
moment.
Just be careful crossing the street and then by the gate.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, welcome into the stream, everybody. I'm your host, Brad of Touring News. We are live in Kansas. I'm just checking out some different farming techniques, different farms, going to farmers markets, checking out some musicians. I was fortunate and blessed last night to see an absolutely incredible live jazz show at the Green Lady in Kansas City, Missouri. It's weird for me that sometimes I'm in Kansas City, Missouri, and then sometimes I'm in Kansas City, Kansas. So I guess this is going to be converted to some type of permaculture, food forest, grazing land, opportunity for indigenous peoples to come and have a little bit of reclamation as well. Thank you very, very much, Dr. WD40, for the raid. I know that you do a lot of kayak streams. I know you do a lot of metal finding streams. I know you do a lot of science-based streams. You're 60 miles west of there. Hi, how are you? Hi, Sovereign Bohemian. I'm 60 miles east of you. What's up? Are we going to do one of these math problems where if Touring leaves at 25 miles per hour and Sovereign leaves at 36 miles per hour, but Sovereign's going by the crow flies and Touring is taking the road system, are they ever going to meet, or are they going to pass one another without an introduction? Although, and I don't intend to be a smartass. If anybody wants to meet up with me at any point on this trip, I'm completely down for anything at any points. If people have farm tips, if anybody has just like tips of things to see in general, I have a 1995 GMC Jimmy and will travel. So yesterday, Montreal Player actually set up a farm tour for me at a chestnut wheat elderberry farm. So the farmer planted chestnut trees and then he was intercropping, the way he said, wheat. He was a wheat farmer, but he was intercropping his wheat in between his chestnuts. That way he was, having a constant producing yield while his chestnut trees were going to maturation. $5 a dozen for corn at the church. Interesting. He was selling his chestnuts for $6 a pound, I want to say. And then whenever I stop chatting with them, I'm going to stay here and do at least some volunteer work for all the time that I took of theirs. So I'll be probably on this property until the evening, and then I did, maybe I'll stream it tonight as well. I went to a place called Food Kind. It's a vegetarian restaurant in Kansas City in like the Warehouse Iron District. I try to eat vegetarian when I'm on the road, and it's a lot easier for me to be veggie while on the road because I don't have to do the food prep or the production. I just go and I give them dollars and they give me food. But I had a spicy buffalo burger with buffalo sauce. It was a mushroom, rice, bean patty, absolutely incredibly delicious, with vegan smoked Gouda cheese. There was Chipotle ranch, which I didn't consume. Tomato, everything was compostable, all the packaging that it came within. They have a 4.9 star review out of 120 some reviews here in Kansas City. So my tip to anybody while you're out there, if you're traveling and you think it's hard to be vegetarian while on the road, I actually kind of find it to be a little easier to be veggie while on the road. And we're going to go back and chat and see if there's anything else that they want to share. And then I guess you all might see me working here sometime soon.
exactly. Carly's gonna go put some of these supplies away,
Okay.
but you're welcome to go, or I'm just gonna finish seeding this.
Yeah,
Okay.
You can talk to Ari and David there.
Yep, down this way. Okay, cool. Oh, you need to get the you need the wheelbarrows that have the two wheels on the outside. It completely it changed. It's I almost will refuse to use this style wheelbarrow anymore because I'm spoiled now.
I think we do have one of those, but one of the wheels broke.
Oh, the ones that we were using were they were complete rubber, so there was no air in the tires, and they have like two. Let's call them. Well, okay, they're almost a tire size, like of a vehicle on the outsides. Run flat, and yeah, it's just so much better because they don't tip. You can put a ton more weight in them. You know, it's just much easier. So I kind of became a wheelbarrow snob for that part.
That's fair, yeah. These ones, it's always depending on the load, kind of a hassle to kind of keep it balanced and everything.
Yep. Oh wow, you have a huge seed propagation going on.
Oh, all the transplants?
Yeah.
Yeah, you should have seen it in the spring. We had a bunch of like those pallets set up with like on cinder blocks and stuff. That's kind of how we make like temporary tables. But we had all sorts of transplants for sale because we have a big transplant sale at the beginning of summer, end of spring.
So what would you sell a pepper for or a tomato for? Like if you let's say it was like an 8-inch.
We do like 4-inch pot for
Okay.
$4 and a 4-pack for $4 also.
Okay. I think that we were doing 1 for $5, 3 for $12, 6 for $20 for like peppers, strawberries, tomatoes, any type of thing. So I was at Green City, or what was I at? Green Community Greenhouse Partners in Cleveland.
Okay.
It was like a 3-acre urban farm converted from a Lithuanian church diocese.
So how many farms have you like volunteered at?
Just one. Really just that one. Luckily, they had high tunnels, they had greenhouses, they had hydroponics, they had a food forest out front. So they kind of had like a lot of what I wanted to learn. But yeah, I'm one of those East Coast office people who has just become very alienated from food production and needing to relearn. So.
Well, that's awesome. I admire you for getting yourself out here.
Is this one of your compost piles?
This is our burn pile, kind of, just where we put, because this is all Bermuda grass. And if anyone who's ever done any farming, like, that Bermuda grass is like one of the worst things because it just gets all up in your stuff, and then you have to pull out all of the roots, and each little node, like on here, you pull up this that's all underneath it, and if you leave any part of it, each little node is going to keep growing some more, and so it just takes over. And so we have a hugel culture. Do you know what a hugel culture is?
Let's actually just assume that mostly I don't. I know that you put some logs down and so forth, but yeah, can you explain to us what it would be and go in as much detail as you'd be willing to?
Yeah, I don't know too much about them, other than hugel is like a German word for hill.
Okay.
Or like mound. So that's where it comes from. It's like a German thing, I guess. But yeah, I think the idea is, and we can stay up here. It's pretty loud next to the highway.
Yeah, I kind of just lean in just because just talk loud.
Yeah, but the hugel culture right there, we've got a bunch of like kind of already dead logs underneath. So as time goes by, those are going to start to break down, and we've kind of just been piling a bunch of material and stuff on top, because eventually we're going to turn it into kind of a raised bed garden, and we can grow things on there. So that's why we don't want to put our weeds on there.
Yeah.
We don't want it to be overgrown with weeds. But basically, the water keeps the wood holds water as it runs down. So it'll kind of be a water holding source, and that since it holds water, we won't have to water it a whole lot because it'll kind of have its own little ecosystem going on in there. So
That's amazing.
yeah.
I got
don't know too much more.
an off-question topic.
Yeah.
Do you know why a Jonathan apple tree would drop apples in the middle of the summer? It happens every year and it's happening now.
I have no idea. I don't know anything about fruit trees or anything
Okay.
like that. That's a good question. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm hoping to go to a couple permaculture farms. I was just at a chestnut farm where he was intercropping wheat in between his chestnuts just to, like, you know, utilize the space a little bit more.
Yeah.
I don't think that wheat is exactly, you know, the best one that I would do, but I mean, the farm had been in his family since like 1812. So yeah, they were just like doing anything that they could to be able to survive. And they were saying that it's been a really tough year with over rain here.
Yeah, we've gotten like a few weeks where it's super rainy and everything's just very saturated, and then like a hot spell for a few weeks, and then rain. So it's like these weird, just kind of all or nothing periods. And I think it's just thrown the crops off a little bit. Everyone around here is having trouble with tomato plants right now because I think the tomato plants, and we got kind of a late freeze too that I think just confused the plants a little bit.
When I was in Kentucky, I was talking to tomato farmers, and they said that they will never grow tomatoes indoors anymore, or outdoors anymore.
Yeah.
They do all high tunnels, and they're just better able to control their water management. They're not using pesticides, they're not dealing with as many pests. So maybe eventually down here, you can probably get a grant for a high tunnel.
Yeah.
And then, you know, you could cover one of these places and you really get great tomato production out of high tunnels.
Yeah, definitely a little bit more of a controlled environment. They used to have high tunnels out here, but I don't know where they went.
Yeah. Who was the person for me to speak with?
Yeah, I'll show you.
And I try to keep the camera off of people that, you know, don't want to be filmed. So.
Yeah. Making pizzas every Friday. They build a little fire pit and then make wood fire pizza.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
We need to make sure you hold so they don't stick. Pardon? Yeah, they went on their break. They're going to get ice cream and we didn't have dairy-free cheese.
I can keep myself occupied, and then I'm gonna come up and help once I finish all this stuff up. You know, probably stay for the afternoon and try to pitch in.
Yeah, I need to grab some water and then I'm gonna be.
Okay. All right, so I'm on my own for a little bit here. Welcome to the KC Farm School at Gibbs Road in Missouri. I'm not exactly sure where in Missouri. I thought I was in Kansas City, or I'm sorry, I'm in Kansas. I thought I was in Kansas City, Missouri yesterday. I think I was in Kansas City, Kansas today. Is there a Kansas City that tips into? I'm not sure. Anyway, welcome everybody. I'm happy that I don't have to be on the camera. I can just, you know, put the camera forward and show you all this. So this is their huge seed propagation room. Wow, they're really doing amazing stuff here. Are these all some kind of micros? I wonder if this is broccoli microgreens. Once again, to make a kind appeal to anybody that somehow has money left in their wallet. The road trip is mostly cheap. I usually just have to get gas, you know, and some food and so forth. But if anybody does want to give a little bit of financial support into the channel, I like to think that the money is going to a good cause. It goes to, you know, finding projects like this, discovering other farms to talk to. I'll be going to a farmer's market tomorrow. I guess probably what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the Kansas City downtown farmer's market. It seems like I'll be staying in Kansas City for tonight. I'm going to work here for the day. I'm going to go back to that vegetarian restaurant for tonight. I don't accept bits. I appreciate the trying to cheer. I got out of the Twitch monetization schemes because they're just so horrid. But tomorrow I'll be at the Kansas City Farmers Market doing some farm interviews and talking to some different farmers, and then eventually we're scooting our way over to Nebraska. I'm probably going to go back to the jazz club tonight and stream and film jazz club once again, because my God, was that some of the just most incredible music that you could possibly imagine. Thank you everybody so much for all the follows. And let me check something here. Okay, and I am back. Am I going to stop by Boulevard while in Kansas City? I have no idea what Boulevard is. Okay, so they are bringing in some peat moss. You know, this is what I need to figure out next. How do we sustainably... Oh, maybe I'll go to Ripple Glass at some point still. How do we sustainably produce peat moss? Because farmers need peat moss. You know, we're gonna need... We need sustainable worm production. We need things like this. Boulevard's a brewery. The tours are great. Oh, okay. I need to stay away from alcohol. It's too simple to go to a bar and drink because like I'm sleeping in a car and you can't go to bed in the car until like 1 a.m. until it cools down, depending on like external temperatures and so forth. So yeah, I appreciate it. I'm down to go to the glass recycler, not as down to go to the bar or the brewery tour. Sorry. Okay, so this must be something that a person was gonna buy. Wow, they are growing absolutely everything here. They are, oh gosh, it's not a bad thing. I mean, I'm gonna accidentally end up at a bar this weekend still. It happens, but I'm trying to get better, and it's just I'm not good at it. I need a boss. Okay, nice beats. Alright, so what I think that I'm going to do here is I think we're going to walk over to the car. I think I'm going to get some coffee. I think I'm going to get some water. I think I'm going to get a little bit hydrated. And then I'm going to ask them, what can I do to be helpful this afternoon? So the disembodied head that's speaking over all the visuals right now, I might have to come on camera a little bit. Oh, those are red onions? The coolest thing is there wasn't a way to recycle glass in Kansas City, so Boulevard is actually the main reason Ripple Glass exists. That's amazing. Oh shit, no, that is really, really cool. How has the video quality been today? By the way, it should be... I mean, I actually think that we probably haven't even had a dropped frame. I'm literally on 5G next to a 5G tower. So you all should be getting... This should literally be the best footage that I've ever put forward. This is the holy grail. This is actually the holy grail of farms to be at. I really don't need to go to any other market garden farms, to be honest. Cool. The poor onions need to be separated from the plant ASAP. Do you know what also needs to happen? The person that you feel next to needs to put some plants in his body. I've only had water and coffee this morning, and that's going to lead to me needing to have more than water and coffee soon. Yeah. Okay. So let's look at each of these. More onion bulbs. Well, I think that I'm just going to ask them, can I eat out of the garden? Like yeah, I think they're going to let me just like make a salad for myself here. So one important thing with educational farms or educational facilities is having art like this around and making it like a communicative, learning, welcoming space. So having paintings, having, you know, the butterflies and so forth, these all really help, in my opinion, add to having like a good learning environment. Do I accept mail? You're a coffee roaster and would like to send me coffee. Well, Not at the moment. My address is a car at the moment right now. We can talk about that craft origin when I'm like in a fixed location. I don't think those were peppers. These have to be microgreens. I don't know why else you would grow some. Oh, this is basil micros, isn't it? Yeah, this is basil microgreens. Yep. Yep, basil micros. So these will be harvested probably in like 2 days or so. Oh wow. Really tasty. I assume that this is broccoli. Or are these radishes? You know what? I'm a better microgreens grower than these people. They can grow everything else better than I can, but I can come down here and teach them how to grow micros. I'm partially being a smartass, but also I am a pretty good microgreen grower. Okay, this is radishes, I think. No? That's broccoli. Okay, broccoli micro. So broccoli microgreens are the highest nutrient dense micro that you can grow. Well, I don't really know if there's better ways per se. Like, this is a pretty damn good way to do it, but it just looks like they're not getting good seeding. You know, like yeah, I probably have one on YouTube. When I come home from this trip, I really just need to sit down and make like all kinds of good YouTube content. I'm trying to upload like in pieces where I can and so forth, but like I have more information than my mind than I can possibly ever keep. And it's not fair that it shouldn't die with me. I mean, it's not going to. Oh, I like, oh, you grow yours without, you do right on paper towels, Yippo. I've never seen a paper towel micro operation yet. I've heard about them. I've heard about these mythical, wow, look at how many trays they have too. They were doing huge propagation around here. I think this is broccoli once again. You do them or just on the tray. Wow. Yeah, Yippo. I would like to see that sometime. I've never seen that before. Okay, so hey, that whole glass thing that you're talking about, ripple glass, I'll go. If you can set up me going to check out ripple glass, I'll go there today. I don't have anything to do. Oh yeah, an affordable system. Yeah, it's cinder blocks with wooden pallets that you can kind of find anywhere. Yeah, keep it. What is it? KISS, right? Keep it simple, stupid. No offense to, you don't calling people stupid, but it's you know, there's two key terms in permaculture: sheer and total utter neglect, stun, and KISS, keep it simple, stupid. Also, though, what they were talking about up on the north lot was really important. Of you know, walk your land 100 times before you decide to plant, or or measure 2 or 3 times before you cut, and so forth. All of those little tips are incredibly important. All right, so we're gonna do a walk up the beds here, and then we're gonna go back and chat up on the top, and I guess have me start to get to work. Wow, look at all the butterflies and the biodiversity, and you can hear the nature and the birds, and you can see the ladybugs and the wasps and the bees. Okay, nice. So they're doing something right here with spent micro trays. An email or a phone number, you can DM me. My email is touringnews1@gmail.com. touringnews1@gmail.com. Does anybody in chat have my phone number? Is there anybody out there who I've given my phone number to that you can give it to the Sleep Easy? I just can't exactly, I don't exactly want to give it to you over this medium. I don't really care that people have my phone number. It's out there, but I don't want it to be Yeah, 2 super available. I haven't seen many people, yeah, be able to reuse their spent micros. Oh wow, so, yeah, I wonder. I don't know what I don't know what's going on here. It's weird. Yeah, this is strange to me. Yeah, it's strange that there was a little bit of undergrowth on the undersides too, so I don't exactly know. But hey, that's fine. Oh, tomatoes are starting to pop. This might be 3rd year asparagus, or is it still 2nd year asparagus? Well, no, some of these are coming around. Am I getting a booster shot? Oh, did something happen that we're supposed to? I mean, yeah, I'm Moderna gang, and if they want me to get a booster shot, I'm gonna get a booster. Oh, do I want their phone number, email? I guess just any of it. Yeah, whatever you think that I might need, go ahead and just give me that, and then I'll get in touch with them. Is this lion something? Isn't this like a weed? Well, not a weed, but yeah, isn't this like a natural growing? I must be wrong. That looks a little bit different than I thought that it was. Eggplant. Interesting. Well, that's whatever. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Well, I could, I'll probably record it Sleep Easy rather than stream it if it's indoors. It kind of all depends on, internet quality. Ooh. These aren't poisonous, are they? Yeah, was that just an unripened blackberry? And now that's a ripened blackberry? What are these? Yeah, but I meant like what type of insect? You know, I wondered invasive, damaging, not damaging. Japanese beetles. Are Japanese beetles good or bad? They don't look good. If they're from Japan, I imagine not good. Okay. Get out of here, Japanese beetles. Go away. Feed them to your chickens. Interesting. Oh wow, those 2 blackberries gave me so much energy. A good part about, like, I guess I somewhat intermittent fast if I don't have like a hotel breakfast in the morning. So I didn't have a hotel breakfast today, and I haven't eaten, and now taking in just like a little bit of food, man, it is super powerful. All right, I'm gonna give you all a nice view. I'm going to get some water and coffee. I will see you in a moment. Nice little flower garden also. They have so much diversity here. It's incredible. Oh, they're even getting some apple trees. This is just a serene piece of property. And look, all of this is done on an acre. Look at all of the production that you can get from 1 acre of well-managed land. I didn't scope out a bench to sit on or anything. Yeah, such amazing production. I go out in the morning and evening to knock the Japanese beetles into soapy water. It keeps things organic. They hatch from grubs in June and July. You know your stuff, Sovereign Bohemian. There is soon going to be a Farmcast podcast on Twitch with myself, Clydeson, Comrade Bubbles, Farmer Barb, and so forth. We're going to begin on working on planning out a like a farming podcast for people. So we'll probably do it like every other week or so and try to just talk about, you know, things happening in the agricultural space and in the agricultural industry. And I think it'll be a good addition to the panels that Twitch has. Oh, they're taking up their... So all of this was tarped before, and the reason that you would do something like this is so you don't have to till. So now this is all going to be ready to plant right away, and you can see they're going to be pulling up the rest of their silage. And then down underneath, this is basically just going to be ready to plant immediately. Yep, the natural way of killing grass so you can work it completely. Yeah, so for one tarp, you know, you're not using pesticides, you're not tilling, you're not using Roundup. You're using, you know, nature to kill everything down underneath, and then this down below is probably going to be, well, it's a little caked. Anyway, it's good enough soil. Hello, Eileen. How are you? Was there anything else you wanted to chat about or share, or are you ready for me to just maybe start helping out?
No, till. Take a break. Growing community. Even farmers who don't like people. Growing community.
So
Younger farmers look to older farmers.
yeah. I did want to ask you, like, really quickly before I logged off. What were some of the more innovative projects that you worked on, like, out in your travels and so forth? Oh, the camera's that way.
Bye.
Okay.
This is so new to me. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, I don't throw the camera like on people's faces like too much.
Oh yeah, it's fun.
But yeah, so it's like, I mean, you can hold it if you wanted to,
Oh
and
my
see kind of how
God.
like it works.
We'll only come back if you leave it fallow and don't plant it. Oh, something else. Wow, there's so many comments. Okay, so I was here when this was a production farm for Cultivate Kansas City, and I was training apprentices but it was focusing on production, so as much as we could get as possible. Here, we're doing a little bit more of a flow, so there's purposefully parts that aren't in active annual production. There's parts that are for the community, pollinators, slow growth. So it's a little bit different use of the land while we're also trying to feed as many people as possible, but learning how to be more resilient through these techniques of no-till production, interplanting, agroforestry. Like, I always tell people to grow what they're gonna eat. So instead of only growing for markets here, we're doing that, but growing for what our community members want. So things like that.
Thank you for the blackberry.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Very helpful.
So nice. So then I went to Harlem Grown after this, which is another awesome organization in New York City. And we were doing a mix of vacant lot, raised bed soil production, and hydroponics, and going into schools and doing composting of food scraps with them, and then also bringing the students to the farms. So yeah, and was involved in like agritecture, like technology in New York City, which is cool in places like New York. Here we can keep producing on soil because we have a lot of space, but we eventually here will also have some examples of indoor hydroponics, outdoor aquaponics, green
Outdoor
walls.
aquaponics.
Yeah, so you don't just have to do aquaponics inside. Aquaponics is with fish.
Yep.
Yeah, you don't just have to do that inside.
Okay.
Like the Aztecs were doing it
Yeah, for their
before the
rice
Steel
paddies.
Age.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So aquaponics is just that.
So will you like
integration.
develop a pond here, and then you're gonna, or would you have like the fishing tanks? Because I know like some.
Probably both.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah,
okay,
over
cool.
on Common
Oh,
Ground.
on the other side. Awesome. Yeah, really
because
amazing.
We want to not only be a production-focused farm, but showing people what all the options are. So the hope is that some of these students, some of our apprentices, go on and have their own
Yeah,
farms.
I think that's the most important part of farming at the moment is farms have to be like what's the word I'm looking for? Like a vocational school. You know, it's important to develop that. And I was actually commenting inside of your greenhouse that having like the art and the colors and the painting, it makes it more like an educational space for kids, and it makes it more like welcoming. I went to
more
food.
pleasant for the crew too.
Yeah, I went to Food Chain in Lexington, and they were doing aquaponics indoors, and they just had all kinds of like, they built like a 10-gallon aquaponic tank to install into schools. That way they could kind of see that kind of stuff. It was just a really good learning experience and environment.
Oh,
So,
nice.
yeah.
Yeah, and then I was doing no-till production upstate in New York for 3 years. And that was a cool incubator program. I worked on the farm for a year, and then I ran a CSA that I leased my own land, so I had my own farm business, which was a really great learning lesson. And then in Australia, converting berry clay soil to no-till production was pretty
Wow.
innovative.
Yeah. All right. I'm just gonna log off with these people, and then I'll come over and help out with whatever you need.
Okay.
Oh yeah. If you want to be on camera, yeah, that's like fine too. Yeah. So yeah, tell people again. The links to the organization and the
Yeah.
Instagram.
So Kansas City Farm School, you can go to the website kcfarmschool.org, and kcfarmschool_Gibbs Road is our Instagram, but you can find it all on the website. Yeah, there's heaps of partner organizations and heaps of ways people can be involved. So if you're here in KC, you can come through.
Yeah, there's one person from St. Louis and another one 60 miles
awesome.
away that they're saying they kind of want to come and check it out. They helped me identify like Japanese beetles that you had,
Yeah.
and they were saying that they knock them off down into soapy water
Yeah.
as like their method of pest management.
Nice.
They were the one that asked the question about the apples. Their apple tree is dropping apples in the summer, and they wanted to know why that was taking place. And there's another person here from Kansas City who might stop by. So.
The apples could be an issue, but it also could just be seasonal if it's doing it every single year. A lot of times we try to produce things the same every year, and that's not really how perennials work. They have years where they thrive, years where they rest, years where they don't know what the heck's going on. So if it's doing it every year, then you could get something checked out, but if it's just this 1 year, I would be like, that's the way it goes.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much for everything,
Yeah.
and I'll be back in a moment. Anything that you wanted to like tell people or?
I don't think so. Just KC Farm School. I mean, we're promoting this organization, but there's so many different organizations in
Yeah.
KC and just everywhere, as you know, you've been traveling around. But yeah, Kansas City in particular, we're like really connected with a lot of different farms and organizations. There's Cultivate KC and just a bunch of little small things that are happening.
Somebody mentioned Ripple Glass to me, a glass
Yeah,
recycler.
recycling.
So I might go try to like check that out and kind of like make a little video about what they're doing.
Yeah.
Because that's like another cool. Basically, my community is just interested in any kind of advancements that are going to be more sustainable than what we're doing at the moment right now.
Yeah.
So like in Philadelphia, we don't even have we don't have recycling facilities. They shut them down.
Yeah.
So it's a 1.5 million person city, not recycling. So yeah, I'll be back in just a moment.
Okay.
Did
yeah,
the,
I'm gonna have you probably weed something.
That's
if you
fine.
wanna grab some gloves.
Okay, yeah, down in the okay. Did the educators return by chance or?
We'll be back soon.
Okay.
And there's also Grandma Rebecca, the shorter woman in the red.
Okay.
She's helping the kids make pizzas, and she said there's extra dough if you want a pizza.
Oh wow! All right. Oh, thank you. Okay.